It's so funny that what I knew was gonna happen with Chris and Huda is actually happening, because a lot of these people, the hood rats, her little fandom or whatever, they're on Chris's Instagram account, whatever, attacking him. They're like, how could you not fight for Huda? How could you not carry her over the water? How could you blah blah? How could you not hold her at night when she was begging for a hug? Like, bitch, did you see what she put that man through? That man was out of love with her. He wasn't even in love with her because she's a random ass girl. But they were only talking for like a week, 2 weeks max, right? And then he's realizing this bitch is crazy, right? So he literally hated her 4 days ago, right? And of course, the episodes that we see are like 3 days ahead of time or whatever. So they're already out the villa, whatever, winner's already announced, right? So by the time we're seeing this, you know, he he's already gone. But he hated her 4 days ago, because she kept cutting him off during that argument. He's there trying to like explain his feelings, and she's like, but actually, like, like cutting this man off 4 times, right? And so men get disrespected really easily like that, right? Everybody has their different boundaries or whatever. So if he hates being cut off and he's telling you not to cut him off, and you cut him off 4 times, in his mind he's thinking like, I'm done, that's not my wife, right? Because you know how men think, like they find one thing and they're like, nope, that's not my wife, right? So he seemed to have like been checked out, right? And then we saw them at that recoupling, and he's like, oh damn, like I gotta spend more time with this bitch, what the fuck? So then the parents come, and he's like scared of his parents meeting this random ass girl, because we all know how black moms be doing, like they be saying their real thoughts on everything, right? Especially his sister. So that's why he was nervous about meeting her, because he's like, this girl has been treating me like shit. But then the parents come and they're like, oh no, y'all look so good together. Whole time the parents only saw stuff from 3 days ago. They did not see when she was cutting that man off, being disrespectful, like, just like how she acts, right? So they didn't see none of that, right? So he's like hoping for them to say, like, oh, like, get rid of that bitch, like, you deserve so much better, she's crazy, like, run ASAP. But in their minds, they didn't see any of that. Right, so they were like, yeah, like y'all are perfect together, hee hee ha ha, right? And he's like, oh shit, like maybe I should give this a chance, right? And then you could tell over the course of time, it seems like he's trying, but then he's like slowly like still checked out, So then when they went on that final date, and then he was pretty much like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Make up your mind. I can already tell, blah blah blah, right? He's already mentally checked out, right? But the way that he's thinking, he's like, shit, like let her break up with me, so that way she doesn't crash out, right? Because I already saw how she crashed out about Jeremiah. Let me not have that happen. So let me make it like her break up with me, so in her mind it looks like she came up with it, right? Whole time he was about to dump her ass when he got back to America, right? So, and then she's there like, oh well, I guess it's not gonna work, we should stay friends. And he's like, okay, bet, thank God, I don't gotta date this bitch, what the fuck, and then he's like, okay, cool, cool. Like he stayed calm about it, but you could tell he was jumping for joy on the inside, right? And then the way that they left the situation, she was like, oh, can we still be friends? Like, when we gather with everybody at the reunion, can we still be friends? He's like, no, sorry, I don't give a fuck about you, bye. And then so he was walking away in the water. She's like, you're not gonna carry me? You're not gonna carry me? And then I was like, he's like, why the fuck would I carry you when we just broke up? Bitch, you have 2 legs, you know how to walk, right? So he walks off, and she's like, I take off my heels. Oh, let me get an extra glass of champagne. Oh my god, like, and it was so funny to me because you could tell how like manipulative she is. Like, she's still wanting control of the situation, right? She's trying to like lure him in. Like, she wanted him to fight for her that bad, you know? And then like by her asking him to carry her, she's like, shit, like maybe he'll just do what I say this last time. Right? But he didn't do that shit. He not falling for that bullshit, right? And then he said the night before, she was poking him in his sleep, being like, you better turn around and hug me right now. 3, 2, what? I'm like, bitch, that's how parents talk to their kids. Why would any grown man want to be talked to like that? Even if he's in love with her, even if they've been dating each other for like 10 years, I would not want a man talking to me like that. Be like, you better get your ass over here. 3, 2, 1. Oh, like that's weird. Why would you talk to him like that? And you barely know him, right? And then there's people say arguing on the Huda side. They're like, oh well, he hit her in the head with a pillow, and he he bashed in her nose job, so the least he could do is like cuddle her for 2 seconds. Like, even if he's tired, all he had to do is just turn around and cuddle her. But like, this man has been checked out for a couple days now, so it's like, why would he turn and cuddle her? Whole time she probably wanted to manipulate him and have sex with him, and play these mind games, because men are affected by sex and stuff like that. Whole time he was probably trying to resist that, because he saw how crazy she got after the first time they had sex. He probably tried to hold out another time, right? I don't know. I feel like she's just extremely manipulative, and I don't get how her fans are not seeing that. Because in my mind, it's just extremely obvious. Like, thank God she's off my screen.